Welcome to Nuggets for Christian Living with the Sanctuary Fellowship. All scripture will be taken from the New King James Version of the Bible unless otherwise specified. Why are you where you are? Now my soul is troubled, and what shall I say? Father, save me from this hour, but for this purpose I came to this hour. John 12:27. I am not asking you why you are here on this planet called Earth, as every Christian should already know that answer. And if you don't know, then it is communicated here. Thou art worthy, O Lord, to receive glory and honor and power, for thou hast created all things, and for thy pleasure they are and were created. Revelations 4:11, King James Version. So what I am asking is, why are you where you are? In your church, in your job, in your home, your school, your family, your marriage, even your country. So I will ask us again, what is your purpose where God has placed you? Have you ever considered this question? Why did God place me in this job? Was it just to collect a salary at the end of the month? Have you ever thought to ask God, why are you in the fellowship that you are in? Is it just to attend services? Why did you marry this person? Was it for you to be happy or not to be alone? I could go on asking the question why you are there. But I wonder how many of us will be able to give a God-appointed reason. As a human being with all of our shortcomings and sin, I think it would not be a stretch of consideration to think that Joseph did not think and ask this question, why am I in this well? Why am I a slave? Why am I in prison when I did nothing wrong? Why am I going through all of these things? I believe that it was after a period of time of being humbled by the things he had suffered to get to this position as Prime Minister of Egypt and have his brothers come before him that he got a light bulb moment. But as for you, you meant evil against me, but God meant it for good, in order to bring it about as it is this day, to save many people alive. Now therefore, do not be afraid. I will provide for you and your little ones. And he comforted them and spoke kindly to them. Genesis 50 verses 20 and 21. When God opened his eyes to see the plan and the purpose of all the things he went through, he got a revelation of what was revealed to us in Romans 8:28. And we know that all things work together for good to those who love God, to those who are called according to his purpose. Moses, after all he went through, discovered at the burning bush why he experienced all of those challenges. Come now, therefore, and I will send you to Pharaoh, that you may bring my people, the children of Israel, out of Egypt. Exodus 3, verse 10. David proclaimed to Saul why God had him defeat bears and lions as training to defeat Goliath. But David said to Saul, your servant used to keep his father's sheep, and when a lion or a bear came and took a lamb out of the flock, I went out after it and struck it, and delivered the lamb from its mouth. And when it rose against me, I caught it by its beard, and struck and killed it. Your servant has killed both lion and bear. And this uncircumcised Philistine will be like one of them, seeing he has defiled the armies of the living God. 1 Samuel 17:34-36. Paul, the Apostle Paul, through all the hardships Jesus said he would have to go through, as he went through them, he helped build and strengthen the early church. God still uses him today through his writings of most of the New Testament. For I am already being poured out as a drink offering, and the time of my departure is at hand. I have fought the good fight. I have finished the race. I have kept the faith. 2 Timothy 4:6-7. So I ask again, what is the purpose that God has you where you are? Why does he allow some unpleasant experiences in your life? Well, from the examples that I mentioned from Scripture, it was to affect a change in those around them, to make an impact in their world. Joseph made an impact on nations through what God took him through. Moses impacted not only Egypt, but also the nation of Israel and the world to this day. Likewise, David impacted the nation while he was alive, and after his death he impacted the world through Jesus, as Jesus was referred to the Son of David. And Jesus impacted the world before it began. He is impacting it still over 2,000 years after he resurrected, and will for eternity. I want to encourage you that despite whatever hardships, suffering, or challenges you would ever face where you are, God set you there to make an impact. If only you don't get weary and give up. And let us not grow weary while doing good, for in due season we shall reap if we do not lose heart. Galatians 6:9. For consider him who endured such hostility from sinners against himself, lest you become weary and discouraged in your souls. Hebrews 12:3. And you have persevered, and have patience, and have labored for my name's sake, and have not become weary. Revelations 2:3. You are in your job not for the paycheck, but to impact those around you for Jesus. You are part of a dysfunctional family to impact that family and change it for Jesus. You are in that difficult and challenging marriage to impact your spouse, your kids, your in-laws, all for Jesus. You are in that crime-ridden community to impact those lawless, those fearful, those wounded people for Jesus. You are in that fellowship not to come every week and sit down and hear a message. You are there to also. How is it then, brethren, when you come together, each of you has a psalm, has a teaching, has a tongue, has a revelation, has an interpretation? Let all things be done for edification. 1 Corinthians 14:26. As the verse tells us, God puts us where we are to impact it by edifying those around us with Jesus. Sometimes we may not see the impact we are having where we are placed, but fruits do not come instantly. They take time to grow and are only revealed at a later time. God has given us the opportunity to make an impact in lives, in communities, in the nations, even after we have left this present life. So, I ask you this question. Are we fulfilling our purpose where we have been sent? Thank you for joining Nuggets for Christian Living with the Sanctuary Fellowship.